if you want to go someday to Kolkata, then you have to study, you have to acquire another job. Ultimately, I didn't get there in Kolkata, but I cracked another exam and I got my job in Times of India. And my posting was in Patna. So Patna means only, I mean, one night travel. So 12 hours journey. So I thought, okay, 2.5 days to only half days. So that way there, and 1992, that Babri Masjid demolition, that day I quit my job. It was my protest. Because of the role of media, I couldn't take, so I left my job. After that, it was another struggle because I had to come back to my home, Barakpur, which was not a city at that time. It was a suburban. And I started selling saris home to home, door to door, because I couldn't take money from my parents. I can't. It was another thing. I actually learned a lot, uh, how to deal unknown people, how to talk to, how to earn money. That was a real struggle because I understood that I was actually a very mediocre student, not extraordinarily good, of course, like Akanksha. But I know that I had to, struggle. And I knew that actually I was not a very, studious. So if I study, then perhaps I can achieve a little. And that way, I cracked my SAIL All India exam and I joined. And fortunately, my posting was in Durgapur. So it was 6 hours journey from Kolkata. So from then, actually, I started traveling to Kolkata first every Saturday. And by this time, uh, our relationship started. When I was in Durgapur, at the fag end of Durgapur, actually, it had happened. So from every Saturday, I used to come to Kolkata in Jadavpur University, some adda, some chit chat, and then from there to Barakpur every Saturday night. And every early morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, every Monday, I went back to Durgapur. But right from Patna itself, actually, I thought someday definitely I didn't have any choice. I had to set up a emotional support group because I knew the way actually be your parent good enough for a woman. Marriage is the ultimate. So if you'd somehow if you want to uh, just avoid that part, you have to be self-sufficient first. And the second is keep a distance from your parents in a nice way. So actually that was the, if you say that it was the real struggle. And ultimately in 1998, I got my transfer from Durgapur to Calcutta, and immediately we two decided to do something. Though at that time she was not with me, she was in her own home. But yes, we traveled to Delhi. Delhi, why? Because we came to know about Sangini. But there was no, only post box number was there and one phone number. That was their helpline number. So from a telephone booth, we called them because they had actually went and we stayed close home. So from there, Sarojini Nagar market, there was a telephone booth. So from there we called them, and Betu actually picked up the phone, and when they said, "What is your name?" My name is Meenakshi. I was a government employee. Immediately, I told my name is Malavika. From when, how, I don't know.
And I told that my name is Akanksha. So the journey of Malavika and Akanksha has started from a telephone booth at Sarojini Nagar, Delhi.
Yes.
Wow.
And from then, actually, our dual life started. From 9 to 6, I was Meenakshi. From 6 past 1 minute to next day, 8 past 59, I was Malavika.
Same with me.
So, and after that, we give a interview. When I came to Kolkata, then we actually started going to a male related, I mean, one gay organization called, at that time it was there, but right now it is no, I mean, not functioning, Council Club. That was the old one, very fast gay group in Kolkata, Council Club. We went there twice or thrice perhaps, but you know, I mean, somehow we couldn't. Most of the people were very nice, very good, but we couldn't.
Actually,
Yes.
actually, we couldn't relate to them
Yes.
because you know the oppression that we were facing as a woman and as a homosexual woman, it's quite different from the oppression they are facing as homosexual men. So we could not talk our heart freely there. But most of them are very nice guys, very nice.
I repeat,
And
most of them. Huh? So that way, so we actually, you know, I mean, and then one journalist came to know about two of us. So they actually from ABP group. So that lady, so you know, and after that, you know, I mean, they actually approached. She actually approached us. So you know, it was, finding people was a parallel thing. Three things actually happen parallelly. One is searching of similar minded people, I mean women. Second is fire released. So fire released, and we do every alternative day or sometimes very next day regularly. Once uh, we actually watched that film Fire, but rest of the time we stood just in front of the theater hall to see any of the, you know, spectators who are actually entering there. Are there anyone like us? So that we could find out some people like us. So and by this time, Abir and Shagorika, they wrote letter to Sri Sangam.
Ah.
parallelly, they were also they wanted to find someone like us, right?
Yeah.
So they wrote to them, and they, that they actually do diverted that letter, or just sent back that letter to Council Club.
Hmm. Hmm.
They didn't know about us, quite obviously. Then Pawan Dhal once, I mean, she just one day, she called me in my office. He called me in my office, and he told that here is a letter, there is a phone number. So I called, and they came in 1999, 2nd of April. And by this time, Julia Dutt from Sri Sangam,
Yeah.
actually, Julia came to our home. And at that time, Julia told two of the girls, they are also there in Kolkata. They are Pia and Kiki.
Hmm.
And Julia said, and Julia passed, I mean, shared their number to us. By this time, our interview published in that newspaper, and there in Anand Bazar Putrika, our two of us interview. Actually, we negotiated with them that yes, we are ready to give interview, provided you will publish the post box number. That post box number, so that paper, I mean, that article published in 4th of April 2000, I mean, 1999. So what happened? Parallelly, we got Abir and Shagorika, Pia and Kiki, and that published that article.
Hmm.
So within a week or 10 days, we got 300, more than 350 letters.
Wow,
Yes,
350 letters.
yes, 350, more than even 350 letters from women. Though many of them didn't share their address, quite obviously, some of them shared their phone number. So 6 of us started connecting with them, those who shared their number. So within 2 or 3 months, we became more than 30.
Wow.
And in 20th June, we formed SAFO. Group. So these are the challenges, which is enmeshed with each other. Individual's journey, collective journey, everything.
Very emotional, very, very emotional. I was just like thinking about, I was imagining you guys, coming up, that post box number, the standing in front of the theater to look for people. Very emotional, like very inspiring. Um, so, um, so when you started the collective, right? You, first of all, there were no, mobile phones, no internet. So what are the challenges that you face? Like, first of all, you said that people didn't want to share the numbers. And what are the other challenges, if you remember?
Yes. So many challenges. Akanksha, could you please tell?
Yeah, actually, what happened at that time? So there were 3 couples, right? Me and Malvika, Pia and Kiki, and Avir and Shagarika. So those 350 letters which came at that time in the post box. So we divided the letters into three different based on the area, right?
No, not all letters. No.
Most of the letters that has contact, either contact, and we used to find out some common place where they came, and we used to go, and we used to meet at a kind of a public place, right? Say for example, Gariyahat Junction, right, in front of Mochak Sweets shop. So like that, we here in the South Calcutta, me and Malavika met some people, those who are from South Calcutta, and from North Calcutta, Abir and Shagarika met them, and from Howrah side, Pia and Kiki used to go to meet them, right? So that way we could reach out the people within those 350 people who came in touch with us. Not 350 people, but we could reach out 30 some 30 people we could reach out, right? And most of the letters there was no phone number or phone any address, right? So we in June 20 we formed SAFO. For the first time we sat our group meeting, first group meeting. So we find that day as we celebrate that day as our birthday, SAFO birthday. But at that point of time, SAFO
Where did
was
you have that meeting?
In our 10 by 11 square feet, one small room in, actually by this time we purchased a flat, 600 square feet flat, and the room was 10 by 11. So you can easily imagine 30-35 people. We used to sit every fourth Saturday of the month in that room.
Wow.
We had only 4 thalis, and we were 35, sometimes 35, 30, 25 people. So we used to have our lunch from 4 thalis.
Wow.
We didn't actually, we were only 4 thalis or 4 or 5 plates, you know, like that.
Yeah, yeah.
we were actually facing some financial crunch because we bought that flat on loan, home loan.
Yeah, yeah.
From our salary, we have to first meet that EMI first in the month, and with the rest of the money, we used to go to office and all our pocket monies and all our own food, and one day in the month, the food for all the people. Maybe it's a egg curry and roti, something like that. So simple, but there was lot of fun, full of fun. So it was something, very
And
nostalgic, very,
no-
very nostalgic.
Not only that, you know, the kids, those who were actually at the time in college students, they definitely they used to come to our flat thrice or 4 times in a week. And first they opened the refrigerator. Where is food? Like that, you know. They were very hungry. So always we had to keep something for them. Because it was a larger family kind of thing. So, and we had not enough, you know, resources.
But one
So-
more thing I must add to that, like we had a landline number and we shared that landline number. Landline number was in my official name, that telephone line. So being a central government employee, and I am sharing my phone number to that kind of, because SAFO people were, all of them, we were underground at that point of time.
Yeah.
Right. So we couldn't came out to public, and so we actually risked.
This is a big risk.
It's a risk.
Uh,
Going and meeting people whom you have not met earlier, क्या पता वो कौन हो सकता है, कौन नहीं हो सकता है. This is a big risk, even if it's
Not only that, actually, you know what happened? I mean, one day, this is very, I mean, every 4th Sunday we used to meet. One day, now she's internationally famous, one athlete. Actually, she was our member. So she called me in my office and office number, because at that office time, she told, Malavika Di, whatever literature, leaflet, sticker, whatever, you just, immediately you pass it to someone. Then I said, why? CBI will come to raid. They said, what are you saying? Then she said, yes, actually, they got your address, and the girl who will be the part of that team, she said, she was also, she got that job as an athlete. So she said she shared that thing to that girl while on, in their practice session. They said, I'm very thrilled because I will go tomorrow to the place of Malavika and Akanksha. And immediately, that very day, I called Abir, and Abir came, and he took everything from there. And very next day was Sunday. So what happened? I mean, that girl came, but not the entire team. She came and she said that I want to be a member of yours, of that group. But by this time, we would know that this is the thing. So, you know, I mean, that kind of thing had happened with us. But I don't know whether, I mean, she said something lie or that was true. I really don't know. I really don't know.
One more thing happened, like we used to give interviews and people were very eager to, keep the photos of lesbians in the media, in the print media mostly. They see, this is the lesbian, this is the Indian lesbian, this is the Bengali lesbian, something like that. So they were very eager to put the, the magazine Savvy. Savvy magazine, they came to our flat, and we also bargained that here also you have to give. Oh, at that point of time, we hired a post box number on our own for Sappho. So you have to put that number, post box number, in your article. So we gave interview, and they came and they took interview. They took our photographs and all.
Photograph?
হ্যাঁ যাদবপুর ইউনিভার্সিটিতে ফটো তুলেছিল না, the long shots, long outdoor shots they took from back side, so the article came with that photos and with the address of our house.
Yes.
Without the post box number.
Wow.
Oh, no. And even everything they published.
Everything without the post box number.
So that had also happened with us. But you know, when we got our post box number, from then what we did, it was really very fun kind of thing that we published fluorescent sticker. And we used to stick in the women washroom of Jadavpur University, Calcutta University, all the colleges, even bus, even local train, everywhere, with the helpline number. What we actually, Swayam of Kolkata, they provided us one landline number once in a week for 2 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Only we can receive the call. We can't call them. Call it. Yeah. So that number became our helpline number once in a week. So it actually, this actually, continued for more than 5 years. And we got many people out of it. Yes. So much. I mean,
and the other challenges that came at that point of time, like all the stories of violence, all the different kinds of stories of violence, and we were there to lend them the shoulders to cry upon. That's it. We couldn't do anything, any other thing. But it was a great support at that point of time. When the word lesbianism or lesbian was not there in the public psyche or public vocabulary, right? So it was kind of very useful support, emotional support to the community. So little it is. It was that little.
But within very short period, maybe within 6 months of time, we understood that we have to be a part of, the women's rights groups. So immediate, in 1999 June, we formed Sappho, and in 2000 January, we became the part of Moitri. So Moitri, you know that Moitri is a platform. Yes. So, and And you know that if Moitri is a platform of women, more than 50 women organization and individuals of West Bengal. So there, initially it was very, very difficult to, to get a space, but within a year or so, because we knew it very well that it was not very easy to get the space. We have to make the space.
Of course.
So that way we raise voice for different causes, women causes, and gradually they actually embraced us.
But the
So,
journey was not that smooth. It was very, very difficult,
yes.
extremely difficult among the women's movement. First of all, there was that kind of stigma in them also. Like, who are the lesbian? Are you working for them? The day when we came out in front of them, like, no, we are not working for them, but we are working for us. We are them. They are not them. We are them. We are one of them. So that day was kind of, a historical day. So like, it was quite unbelievable for them, like a lesbian can come out like that and standing in front of them and demanding the rights. Because most of the people were, though they were in feminist, it's a feminist group, feminist coalition, and they were in feminist rights, women's rights movement, but they were not open to homosexuality, not with homosexuality.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we must say that yes, it took a little time, but ultimately those who are quite young, contemporary of us, they gave us time, they listened, and at the same time, what we did at the time, we had nothing, only our flat, nothing was there. So we tried to strengthen our referral networking through Moitri. Those who are working working for domestic violence, right? So they became our allies. Those who are running the home, sheltered home, it actually came in use of us, because some of us actually, they lost their home due to their orientation. So this way actually, that referral networking worked in a very good way. That was a real struggle, Ritu. You can't believe, if we start sharing, then it will be, a long one day it will take.
I personally had the biggest challenge to face my family, because my family, I was never out to my family at that point of time, but they could guess about my orientation and our relationship. And there was a huge emotional blackmailing from my family, and I had to deal with all this, and I had to confront all these things from my family, because my family was very unlike her family. My family was very, very orthodox, and I had a lot, extremely high marriage pressure. So somehow I had to get rid of that pressure, and so many tricks we used to invent, not only for myself but for many, many girls, that there are 501 ways how to dismiss a marriage proposal.
Can you share one way?
We can conduct a workshop on that.
So it came into help in very, fruitful way.
Yeah. I can imagine at that time, and the pressure. Like when you were talking, I was thinking that, of course, much has changed now, but still the struggle is still going on. Like I remember in Kashti, when we started Kashti, we remember, I'm not sure, Ditambara, you were there? Remember Ditambara? That we used to stick posters, like stickers, in the bathrooms, in everywhere. Like the same stories are, like,
repeating.
Yeah, and it's like I can see that happening in front of my eyes, what you have shared. And then the women's movement, the kind of struggle that yeah yes. So so this is a question that we have been wanting to ask as an organization also. Like you talked about queer women, for instance, but your organization also is now working with trans masculine people and trans men. Um, when did you realize when and how did you realize that there was a bunch of people who did not identify with the gender they were assigned at birth? And when did the term become important for you guys to take on as a stakeholder or take on as people for your community? And why did you think of working with trans masculine people?
Actually, Ritu, when we started SAFO, at that time it was purely for lesbian and bisexual women support group,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So, but gradually, I mean, we must say, and we apologize publicly as well, because we couldn't understand even, because we didn't know the term transgender. We only knew, though much later, sometimes in 2001, 2, we came to know the term Kothi. We came in touch with so many Kothi person, effeminate men, and they also identified themselves as Kothi.
Kothi.
So, and yes, and Kothi and Hijras. So, we, and whoever, at that time, part of, they also identified themselves at that point of time. I don't know, they at that time, they said they are butch. Perhaps they didn't even knew. And much later, sometimes in 2005, 6, and by this time we have, some of us, they left, some of joined, and by this time we thought that we have to extend our platform from emotional support group. They must be as it is, but we have to, include different people, different in a sense. As an ally also, we need people. If we want to, I mean, we have to include heterosexual community, those who believe the cause. And where SAFO for Equality, when we formed in 2004, at that time, we came in 2003, October. So by this time, we came in touch with fabulous few people, like Dr. Ranjita Vishwas. She extended her support as a psychiatrist, because mental health, we didn't understand how to address that mental health at that point of time. We didn't know even. Everything is uncomfortability, discomfort. That we didn't identify categorically this is mental health issue. Even we didn't know. She did it. Shumita came. And some other people, Amit Ranjan Basu, right now she is in, that gentleman is in Durg in Madhya Pradesh. But the thing is, lot many, Anchita was there. So lot many people came. Shumita, Ranjita, they are still with us. And much later, Niharika came from USA. She actually extended support, and after that, right now she is in Delhi, But the thing is, they became our pillar. And by this time, internet also, 2004 onwards, internet availability, increased a letter. I mean, it was not, of course, within the reach, very rich, but at least some of us, we could, from office at least, we could. So, that way I started, she started, and some other people. And we also came to know from Ranjita also that what is transgender. That way we learned, we studied, and we, after that, actually, we
Can I
extended
share
that.
a short story?
Yes.
So I can remember, like in our home, in a 10 by 11 flat in room. At that time, there was a person who used to come there, and once just that person reaches our home, and that person used to carry a lungi, that person used to put on salwar kurta, and as soon as that person entered the room, he changed the salwar kurta into lungi. But we couldn't understand why it is so important for that person to put on lungi at every time when that person is out of his or her home.
Not out of her home, when
Entered our
That house, your flat, yeah.
flat.
yeah.
So we couldn't understand at the time, but we could understand there is something which actually, make that person change it. It is some inherent thing,
No, I mean, actually, he felt very, I must say he right now, but at the time she identified herself as lesbian, butch lesbian. But I really, I mean, the thing is, I really don't have any idea. I mean, what actually, but the thing is, yes, we couldn't understand the way we understand much later. And when we understood that thing, since then we extended that support group for trans masculine persons as well.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, actually, because this is a very important learning for all of us as well. So why did you think of from a collective? I'll stop my question, like I'll open it up for people, but we really want to know, like, from a collective, why did you think of an organization?
Actually, see, there is no transformation. We have not yet been transformed from a collective to an organization, right? Both the collective as well as the organization exist
Together.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are some kind of discussion between the organization and collective. Sometimes we are having constructive confrontation, and sometimes we are having some discussion. Actually, it is a synergistic effect to both ways. It is synergistic effect, from the collective to organization, and from the organization to the collective. It is a coexistence of collective and organization. So it's not only an organization, not only a collective.
Yes, organization, sometimes, organization have some certain kind of limit. Being an organization, you know it very well. Now I can't, because, we have certain things we have to abide by. And sometimes we are getting so much frustrated as well. But then collective actually questioning us, why you can't do that? Why shouldn't you do that? I mean, the way, I mean, sometimes I'm a part of collective, sometimes I'm a part of organization. So it is really very, very challenging. Very, very challenging. But this is, sometimes it is very much required for us, because it helps us to sometimes to introspect. This is important. So I mean, organization is there, and we have to do a lot. And very frankly speaking, why we have extended that platform and got registered because of the fund. We couldn't handle. And in entire Eastern India, there was none. We had to do lot many things. And we were, all of us, we actually, we were working somewhere, all of us.
Yeah.
And, after 6:37, we started our work for SAFO. We used to sleep for 3 hours in a day. For long time. It happened for long time. And after that, because only extending shoulder was not enough. We had to talk to them. We have to go to the far end of Nadia district to address one issue. Sometimes, who will do? Because at that time we were not in a position, because it had not happened, only particular a day, Saturday or Sunday. It had happened any day. So, and not only that, we have to, organize different kind of programs, film festival, lot many things. And researches, studies.
Of course, I must say that there is a shift in the journey, because from the very beginning we were very much disturbed with our sexuality, but gradually as the day passes by and we were aware of the gender discrimination as well. So now we think that gender cannot be segregated from sexuality, and sexuality cannot be addressed without gender. So we right now we address gender sexuality together. So anybody can be discriminated because of that person's sexuality and gender as well. So gender and sexuality is enmeshed. So you cannot address sexuality separately. You cannot address gender separately without sexuality. So it is there. Gender and sexuality both are there. So this is a big shift that has happened in our, realization.
Thank you. So last question, when you look back, what makes you smile? What makes you smile?
To me, I left my job, my office.
Yeah. I remember discussing that with you. Remember in Bangalore, you had just left. Yeah.
Yes. It actually, it meant a lot to me, I had, actually right now I have me time as well for at least half an hour. So this is very important. And if you say, see, the thing is, I have certain things to tell you, Ritu. You didn't ask me, but again, I want to tell you one thing.
Please tell.
See, sometimes I think that why this different, why two, all the time, right now, in the entire gamut of, activism, cis versus trans. Sometimes I feel very unhappy for that. Sometimes I'm really feel very disturbed. I know trans, their journey, their challenges, we cannot even think of. But being a cis, can't I touch it? Can't I feel it? I know that I'm a Brahmin. I am Sanyal. I am Brahmin. I know it. But I don't have any, influence on that, being a Brahmin. Can't I at least feel the struggle? At least I can't. Can't I touch the how the Dalit people are being discriminated. Can't I understand? Can't I feel there? That all the struggle, though I know that I didn't experience that one, I never can think of. Identity is something, identity politics. This is very much required, I know. Some point of time it is required. But when we talk about allies, when we talk about the umbrella of LGBT, of course, plus, can't we think of politics of standpoint? I know the politics of identity is very much required, but can't we think for politics of standpoint as well? So I can't smile all the time. I can't. And when the people are asking what is your achievements, Sappho's achievements, I always say that we yet to achieve. 377, we had to. It had to. We knew it. It had to. But if we talk about achievements, then we yet to achieve that one. Cis and trans issue, definitely there is certain, definitely it has there, but only identity politics is not enough. Not enough. This is required, but this is not enough. We have to accept the necessity of politics of standpoint. And in activism, feminist lens is the inevitable thing. That's it.
Agree. Yeah, yeah. Akanksha, you want to say something?
Yeah, actually, in my case, I must say that I have made my life large enough to be into this field of activism with LGBT people and making many friends throughout the whole world, and learning new things, learning new lives, and experiencing different situations, and learning from those situations, all the hindrances that we used to face and we are still facing, and learning from it, and how to come out of that hindrances and how to get out of those struggles. These are all learning things for me as an individual. And for Sappho, I must say that it's, of course, my view that Sappho has got many friends. Sappho has got a lot of friends at this point of time.
Yeah, of course.
We have to go many more miles actually, we have to go many more miles.
So,
Because we have to start our new fight for civil rights. This is important.
yes,
And now the people are asking for marriage.
marriage equality.
Equality. For that, they are actually sending me, please sign petition. And I said, this is, please don't.
Marriage.
Yes, marriage equality. Don't say here. So for marriage, actually, petitions are sending. No, I mean, I just don't know from.
Yeah, I saw on Facebook.
Yes. Then I said, well, dear, actually, it's not my priority. So please send someone else, because I will be on the other side when you will get that one. So sorry, but this is my stand. I don't know what will be the Sappho stand. Later, definitely we'll discuss about it.
I say that my stand also no marriage. That is also my stand, that no marriage.
So, I mean,
But what I have started thinking is that if heterosexual people can get married, why not queer people? And when some people want to get married. But don't make it an important, the most important part of your life.
Ritu, I told that very thing. The same thing I said. Those who want to, let them. Who am I to say no? Who am I to say no?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let them do. And I mean, the thing is, yes, that is their right as well. They have to exercise their rights. But I have my own rights as well to say
Yeah,
no.
no,
That's
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So,
I think from a different angle, like there should be no marriage for anyone.
anyone that would be like best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For everybody, there should be civil unionship.
yeah. That would be best option. But opening our session now for the for everyone here, please you can turn on your mic, introduce yourself, and ask questions to Malvika and Akanksha. Otherwise, we'll hog the floor again. So please feel free to ask, comment.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yes, yes, yes.
So this is Asha. I'm Asha Achutan, also sometime. Hi. So I wanted you both to speak a little bit about Shakonte in the context of, see, the time that you were speaking of when, invisibility was also high and risk was also high, right? Early days. And like I know that there are many stories of of the Boimala and hawking Shakonte. With my, like obviously nobody was wearing a mask while they hawked Shakonte. So as you looked for people, you also made yourself visible. So there was that risk, but there was also that finding of people, and I know that there used to be these I sold so many today, and all of that. And so that means there were also strategies in, I'm sure, of talking about why am I selling this? Am I the person, am I the queer person, or am I a lesbian woman, or am I working for lesbian women? So like, would you like to, this is something that's so unique to Sappho's experience.
Can I reply now, or can I reply now?
Yeah. Please go ahead. Yes. Someone wants to ask something. Mics are on, so I'll. Yeah, please go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, what Asha reminded us, like talking about Shakonte. Shakonte is the little magazine that is being published for last 17 years, since 2004, twice in a year, one in the January book fair issue and other in the June, the birthday issue. So yes, the hawking of Shakonte in the book fair, which is Kolkata Book Fair, it is the place of gathering of millions of people. At least 1 to 3 lakhs people visit every day. So hawking Shakonte is a challenge for our volunteers, right? So whenever you take Shakonte, the Shakonte is that magazine which is talking on only sexuality issues, that too on women's sexuality. So it takes some kind of courage to hold the Shakonte and go around to the people and hawking the people and discussing the things. See, this is our paper which we have brought out, which is saying about the rights of LGBT people and queer people. So this takes a kind of courage, and this is a strategy of empowerment as well. Like, yes, when I hold Shakonte, I feel that it is my right to speak out about my sexuality, about my gender discrimination. So it is some kind of, revolution in itself. Shokonte is not only a magazine. First of all, it talks not only for the LBT people. It talks on sexuality as a whole, talks on women issues, talks about many isms, trans issues, all. So it is a platform of talking about so many things. And not only there are this kind of intellectual papers, intellectual articles, but there are narrative stories, poems, and any drama or drawings, graphic novels, everything we publish. So this is some kind of platform with which we can reach out more and more common people, and that way too we can reach out community people as well. So it itself is a revolution. Shock content.
One very funny story I would like to share, because the girl who came, say, at the age of 20, 21, and now they are, say, 30 years old. So when they started at the time, 2021, they actually accompanied by other senior person, because when the people actually yes, they are grilling, the public, they are grilling. Oh, you are a lesbian. Acha. What is your name? Where are you staying? Like that. So from there, how you actually just turn around the table, and when you start talking from your side. So this is our strategy, and this is a skill. So when they said, when we have started, we targeted all the time some lady who are with big bindi, with with sari, and we thought they are feminist kind of, and they may take our paper. Now what they are saying, now they are actually those who are couple, in a sense heterosexual couple with child or children, they are approaching them. They are approaching to the Maulavi. They are approaching to the priests, those who are actually be there. Swamijis, they are approaching them. Now they are so, confident about themselves,
Even they are approaching police.
Police people also. They are approaching and they are selling them. So
Chai has a question.
Yes.
Chai?
Hi. Thank you very much for that lovely nostalgic trip. I have to talk to you about the half an hour for yourself, but that I'll do off this webinar. But my question really is, as I'm listening to your story and reflecting on our story here, which we'll talk about next time, I feel there's a role that the city plays in the nature of organizing. So would you like to dwell a little bit on that? What is your relationship with Kolkata and West Bengal, because your work is not limited to Kolkata? What is your relationship to that region and to that city in particular as Sappho? Meaning, what helped and what hindered?
If you say, then yes, our relationship, in a sense, very frankly speaking, that already I have said that, past, till date, in the entire Eastern. But the thing is, yes, now, Paul Chai, initially the people used to come from Midnapur, from Nadia district, from Bardhaman. But now what happens? Now they don't need that much. Only thing, they used to chat with me. They used to chat with so many people over, in virtually. We have lot many, community people who are residing in they are spread around, West Bengal, and not only West Bengal, in Odisha, even in Assam and Manipur. They are there. They are always keep in touch with us. And but the thing is, yes, as a member, there is not required as well. Only thing is that yes, we have a very good relation. They are coming to us once they are in trouble, when they have certain kind of problem in home front or with girlfriend, you know, that time they approach us, but they are not the regular people. But we have a good relationship, and these girls are residing in different parts. You know, I mean, just few days back, 6 or 7 days back, one girl, she called me first time. She came, she got my phone number, personal number from someone, and she approached me that in COVID period from Bardhaman, her parents booked, uh, you know, they booked in Kolkata. There's a reputed hospital, one psychiatrist, because they came to know that girl is in love with another girl, and the girl, I mean, her daughters, I mean, the who is the lover, she is Muslim. So parents took her to a tantric, you know, tantra, that priest, and at the same time they booked a slot with a reputed eminent doctor, psychiatrist. She called me. Then I said, how it would happen tomorrow, how you could, because you know, police permission is required from traveling from one district to another district. How you come here in Kolkata from Bardhaman? Then she said, my parents got clearance, police clearance today itself. You can easily imagine how, because that girl, they knew about Sappho. She didn't call. Only when she called, when she is in trouble. It happens. And yes, we addressed that one. Somehow it had happened. Just day before yesterday to our helpline, and Koel addressed that one at 12 o'clock at night. One transman's partner, she left that place and she came back to her home along with her parents. So how she actually negotiated at that time, that transman, he just cried out in helpline, and he said that it had happened with my girlfriend yesterday at night, 12 o'clock. So when they are in trouble, and that is also not in Kolkata, that is in North Chobbish Pargona. So we are addressing, but the thing is, yes, they are not very closely, you know, associated with us.
Thank you. Deepti has a question. They have put the question on the chat box. Can you both see? Their romantic and sexual relationships within the members of Sappho often, then their breakups. Have this ever affected the dynamics of the group? Have there been cases of violence within relationships? Have you been able to address them? Number two, have you been able to include partners of trans persons, especially cis women partners within Sappho? These are two questions that they asked.
Romantic and sexual relationship.
Of course. You know what? It is yes.
These are breakups, yes. So much drama is also happening, yes. This is inevitable. It happens, yes.
But I don't think that they have affected the dynamics of the group. It's not that. It never happened. The group dynamics, the activity of the organization, activity of the collective, somehow they used to mitigate, they used to solve the problem among the collective and all. But the group dynamics never changed. At some
How did it happen?
It happened.
See, the thing is, it had happened because, I mean, maybe it had happened that one was dissatisfied and that person left the group. It had happened.
Okay.
More than once it had happened. But we consciously, we tried to, I mean, discuss the very fact that when you actually fall in love, you didn't ask the group and it had not been approved by the group. That was your conscious decision. So now it is also, group is definitely beside you. Just to, I mean, how you actually cope up with these things, that support will provide. But you cannot say that, I mean, if both of them said, I am right and you have to be by my side, how is it possible? So, dynamics,
अरे ये सब तो खाप पंचायत नहीं है ना.
how? कैसे कर सकते हैं ना? And the second question, have you been able to include partners of the trans persons, especially cis women partners within SAFO? We have. We have cis partners, but not more, not many, because most of the trans men, they don't feel comfortable in SAFO, very frankly speaking, most of them in Kolkata and surroundings. And those who are there, they are with their partners, and partners, they are cis, yes.
Show has a very nice story to share. You should read it.
Yeah, we have read. Thank you so much
Thank you so much, Show, for
for
sharing.
sharing.
Yes, all of you, those who ask questions, those who are there, really, we are actually feeling privileged. We are thankful to all of you that Nazaria actually provided this space to us. We have started that group sometimes in early 30s, and now it is almost late 50s. We have got this opportunity to talk about our early days. Thank you so very much.
No, it's our honor to have you. Oshali has something to say. Can you read it? Reflecting on Chair's question, I am just thinking about how political organizing becomes very different from region to region. So your relationship with left politics in the region and with women's movement in particular.
There are depending on the specific culture, history, and political movements in that region. See, the thing is, political, in a sense, in West Bengal, as you know, that left politics was there, and we were, at least I can say that I was associated with left politics since my higher secondary school life. But after that, I mean, I had lot of difference of opinions with the left politics, particularly CPIM. I'm talking about, not with SFI. I was deeply associated with SFI, but in CPIM, yes, I had not many issues, and I was not in politics in a sense afterwards. And but the thing is, again, when I came back to West Bengal, what I saw, even the question of on homosexuality, they were in great denial, great denial. Across India, when fire released, lot many things that happened. But in Kolkata, when questioned, I mean, when the reporter questioned the ministers or the leaders, communist leaders, they said, we had nothing as such. This is a petty issue. Even in Mahila Sangathan, in left party, they said in Bengali, they said, roti kapra makan ka jo issue hai, I mean, they said ki roti kapur আর I mean, থাকার ইস্যুটাকে বাদ দিয়ে আমরা এই ইস্যু নিয়ে সবার ইস্যু নিয়ে কথা বলবো না. We will not talking about the issue who will sleep with whom. When we said that if a girl, refused to get married, and they said that we are not just, I mean, ruining a boy's life by getting married, then immediately we are losing our home, we are losing our shelter, we are losing our education, we are losing our job, because the parents used to go to the employers and they said, my daughter is lesbian, you please sack that person, you sack my daughter. It had happened not once, many a times with our girls. Financial independence, they actually, get afraid. And it had, when we say that, see, this girl, they lost just because of their sexuality. So how could you say the sexuality is not at all an issue? This is the issue of sleeping with one person to another, one girl to another. How could you say that? Again, they said, okay, we'll discuss later, not now. At this time, immediate before the election, when these people came to us, we want to sit with you people just to include in our manifesto. You please talk to us. Then I said, again, this is the electoral issue. This is your electoral politics. It varies, I mean, again, I'm saying, left, I'm not talking at all about rights. This is out of question. But left, radical left, or TMC, whoever, we have to talk only, I mean, it varies, definitely it varies region to region. But our connection, I must say that our connection should be, our common thread should be feminism. That is my understanding. Maybe a very little, but that is the only thing we can. Yes, we have in our blood a little, definitely still it is left that red is my color. But again, I'm saying that yes, I am perplexed. The common thread between, see, if you say LGBT groups in and around in India, our common thread is feminism. That way we can only connect, nothing else.
Someone called Shri has a question.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
Myself, Shrikuti from Kerala.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm extremely happy that I got a chance to meet you at least via Zoom.
Thank you so very much.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am, it's my pleasure. My question is that, ma'am, what's your opinion about the term lesbian feminism and queer feminism? And this terms a shift from lesbian feminism to a queer feminism. Means some lesbian communities still use the term like interchangeably. So, do you think that queer feminism has like more inclusivity? So, ma'am, I just want to hear from you that how did you define this term? How do you define this term?
You know, I mean, to me, and actually it varies lesbian to lesbian and queer to queer, maybe, because if you talk about ism, then if it is nothing to me, I'm talking about my understanding is very little, but yet I would like to think or clarify or define in this way that if this is an ism, then there is philosophy. And if it is a philosophy, then there is nothing concrete. This is your thing. I mean, in which way actually you perceive. To me, lesbian feminism and queer feminism, there is a very thin and porous wall. To me, there is a, you know, this is very porous. So, if you are lesbian and if you are practicing homonormativity, then then you cannot be a, I'm not saying, but and yet I just don't know whether you can identify as lesbian feminist or not. But at the same time, when you are talking about queer, then actually the entire thing is actually you are challenging the heteronormativity. You are challenging. So this is more powerful to me. And this is more nearer to, that philosophy of the feminist philosophy to me, because then your practice would be something which actually challenges constantly to the heteronormative domain or heteronormative world. So that way, actually, I'm thinking that yes, lesbian feminism, I just don't know. I mean, the people are saying or not here, to me, it may be, again, it has to be a little, and yes, one thing, Sri, I must say that now, the recent world, they are claiming lesbian feminism in certain way, that if everybody, queer is a very different term, where everybody and anybody, those who are not heterosexual, they can claim themselves as queer. But lesbian identity is now in danger. Lesbian identity, nobody is right now, they are claiming lesbians. So that way, lesbian feminism is coming up in a different way, but I have to read more, and I yet to come across any lesbian feminist in such a way who are identifying. So I have to talk more and I have to learn more regarding lesbian feminists.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Any more queries, or there is one? Okay. Any more comments, queries, or we can end the session? Okay then. Malavika and Akanksha, thank you so much.
Thank you so very much to all of you.
You made us emotional, like really emotional and nostalgic. and so many stories came up. We have to now think about, like, I don't know, like, so many things to talk about, so many things to think about. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our audience. Do join us next Saturday for discussion of Labia, a queer feminist group based out of Mumbai. So Chainika and Charles will be talking about their journey. So see you all next Saturday. And thank you so much for joining us again. And bye. Bye. Take care. Take care.